everyone. It is Sunday. It has finally arrived. I don't know about y'all, but I am excited for it. I am happy that it came because then that means that I get to come on here and connect with one of you guys. Give me just a moment. I'm going to set everything up so everybody can join in the conversation. Sorry if y'all couldn't hear me. My bad. I didn't bring my mic up so that you could really hear me. So if I sound far just a minute ago, me. Um, as I was saying, yeah, Sunday's finally here. I'm able to connect with each and every one of you guys, and we are looking forward to having a really good conversation, just like last week. If you have not watched the conversation between myself and Shantae Nicole, boy, did you miss out. Like, just us, right? There's a lot of people, a lot of new watchers and viewers that decided to join us that made the conversation even better, in my exploration of, just wanting to come and do this thing to where people can see what it's like when people have real intentional conversations, like, for real. One second. That's what I feel the world needs now more than anything else, because we trying to do all this stuff and we trying to, save face and hold on to these false senses of the people who are now and for what, for the sake of what. Who are you being fake for? Who do you need to be fake for? Sorry, hopefully who are you being fake for? Sorry. Hopefully my Facebook fam can now see everything that's going on. I'm a My private settings is set to private, and I always have to do that because I refuse to make everything public. Because if you're here joining me, if you're getting in on this goodness, like, it's intentional. So, um, if you're joining me tonight, please, as always, let me know who's rocking with your girl. Let me know who's watching, who is listening, who's willing to participate, who's feeling what it is that your girl is going through. Every time I come to y'all, I kid you not, some of the stuff that I talk about is brought to me, like, through other people's experiences or what other people are going through, and I feel like that's a really good moment for you to kinda bring those things to the forefront into these conversations, because if one person is thinking, there may be somebody else under the sound of my voice and the sound of this growing movement, that may be feeling the same thing. But when I kid y'all not, 90 99% of the content that I bring to you guys in these conversations and the conversations that I share with you are based on things that are actually happening currently in my real life, that previously happened in my real life and left a certain impact on me, whether positive or negative, temporarily negative, um, or they may be things that, I feel are coming up in my future, and I express it as a means to be able to help other people to move forward. But a lot of this currently going on in my life. I'm gonna go ahead and set the room like I always do each week by just welcoming you all in. Welcome to the Sunday Sit Down with yours truly, Nicole LaTreece. This is a podcast dedicated to exploring the nuances of personal development, relationships, and the journey to self improvement. Each week, I'm going to dive deep into meaningful conversations as a means to uncover insight and strategies that hopefully will help you navigate life's challenges, because the challenges are going to come. Be able to see opportunities because the opportunities are going to come as well. And whether it's discussing the dynamics of changing relationships, because as you get older, as you mature, as you grow, as you dive deeper into your self-love, personal growth journey, you're not going to be the same person that you was before. But that doesn't mean that you don't have relationships that were established before you got into that part of your journey. If you want any insight on that so far, go back and watch some of the other episodes, especially the one of, you know, how I recognized that I got fumbled and now what, and that'll help lead you up to where I am in this part of my journey of progression, not perfection, as Pastor Todd likes to say. So whether it's discussing the dynamics of changing relationship, the intricacies of mental health is super important. I didn't know the importance of mental health until about 3 years ago, um, when I really, like, got into my own space and was able to just sit and look at, "Alright, Nicole, this is what you've been through. This is where you are now. What about this is supposed to go in your future, and what about it is not supposed to go into your future?" So mental health, I'm you kinda like a baby on that journey as well, so don't feel bad whether you're just getting started, maybe you haven't gotten started and you're thinking about it. Um, don't think too long. It's wrong. It cannot hurt by getting out there and talking to someone, to kinda help you navigate if mental health guru such as a licensed therapist or, like me, a life coach is someone that can help you to get further along in your mental health journey or the steps towards personal empowerment. This podcast aims to inspire, educate, and empower you, the listeners, to embrace and others. 'Cause like I said, this conversation, each interaction is on purpose for a purpose. Like it makes no sense to be having certain levels of conversation or certain types of conversations where nobody else can see it because somebody else can benefit from, your type of conversation as long as it's not one where you're telling your business. If you can talk about an experience that you've gone through, how it's impacted you, how it's you don't get it twisted, it's a can of juice, nothing else. But somebody else can benefit from being able to hear your story, hear your testimony, be a part of your journey even if it's after the fact. So I wanna thank each and every one of you who are joining me now. If you're joining me, say, "Hey, hello, uh, what is it? Bonjour, jumbo, hola," whatever your is. Say hello to your girl, let who's here, let everyone else know, because this is a community-based type thing. I just really want to foster a new sense of community. So thank you, each and every one of you, for joining and committing to be a part of a community committed to personal growth and transformative change. So I told y'all, I need y'all help today. I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna say it any other type of way. I need y'all help. So in my healing journey and just the overall of how things have been going in my life, I've started to notice something. Hey Tiffy, thank you for joining me, girl. I've started to notice that it's just like people really have the audacity to try to do what it is that they're going to do, not only in their own lives, but they're going to try to do it in your life as well if you've already allowed them access to be in your life, whether it's friends, family, intimate relationships, whatever the case may be, people are going to try it and they are going to try you at the same time. And I'm just like, I really don't get it. For me, in my own personal journey, and as we continue the conversation, if you experience something else, feel free to put it in the chat. My thing that I'm starting to realize about the people that I'm interacting with is I have some energy suckers. Like, y'all remember back in elementary school, if you had that fish tank in your class, you got that fish that's just permanently attached to the glass sucker fish, and all it does, you can just see its little mouth just sucking and cleaning and moving all over the tank. Like, now for the sake of this analogy, that fish is beneficial, right? Because that fish helps to keep bad things out of the tank. It serves a purpose in being a sucker in that particular way. I'm not talking about the people who are like that fish, the ones that come, kinda clean things up and make things a little bit better, but they stay in their own lanes. I'm talking about the ones that come over into your space. And just like in the instances where that has happened specifically to me, it has happened, I guess in a couple different ways, of course, because it's been different people. But it also occurred at a lower stage in my life where I was orbiting, vibrating on a particular frequency that is, I know, lower where it is I'm used to operating from. It has been the type of situations to where I have experienced these things in person, um, meaning alright, I'll just give y'all an example, 'cause I try not to tell people's business, and then this particular example is, kinda someone else's business because they did it to me. But since I was a part of the, um, overall incident, hey, this part is my story to tell, right? So, I am in a particular space, I'm cool, I'm calm, I'm collected, I'm chilling, I'm asleep. And where I'm sleeping at is not my own home. It's somewhere else. So I'm sleeping, I got on my nightgown or whatever the case may be, and I'm still mindful of certain things I face. If you got some knockers, you know what I'm talking about. When that over the shoulder boulder holder come off and you lay on your back, one go one way, one go the other way. You feel me? Ain't nothing I can do about that. But in the space of where I am, I have to be mindful of that. So it's like covers up, making sure that if the girls don't do what the girls gonna do, ain't nobody see what the girls gonna do. All right, cool. So it's like maybe 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sleeping. Next thing I know, I feel the bed shaking. And my sleepy self is like, no, we not ready to get up. Like, what is going on? Like, it's still dark outside. So I paid kind of no mind. Another second goes by, the bed's still shaking. I wake up, there's an individual sitting on the side of the bed having a anxiety attack, shaking the bed. What in the world is going on? What are you doing? Now it's like it's a violation of my my personal space. We don't operate like that. We don't fool like that. Instance of when something has happened. There was another instance of, and y'all see me scratching my head because I'm having to relive these things for the sake of y'all so I can fully put it out there. The second instance was sitting on the couch, doing some hair, watching TV, chilling, minding my own business. Now, depending on the braided style, I had to move myself up a little bit to the edge of the couch to snatch them edges, not in a bad way, but to get them so that they could go into the braid. I try to lean back, there's something behind me preventing me from going back, it's a person laying behind me, contact to contact. Again, this time it was a panic attack, stealing my energy. There has been a whole experience that I went through willingly, because there were certain things that I needed to see, certain things that I needed to experience in order to let, the patience that was needed on the inside of me for myself to be able to come out. And it was alright, when things was good, they was good. When you needed somebody to talk to, I was there to talk to. When you needed somebody to listen to, I was there to listen. When you needed somebody to be your cheerleader, I was there to be your cheerleader. When you needed somebody to support you, I was there to support you. But when the roles were reversed and I'm physically not feeling well, oh, Sorry to hear that. Hey, I got this other stuff that I gotta do. But I gave you all this energy. Now I can't get it back in return? How dare you? And I don't know about any of y'all, but if you've ever, because this has happened to me in the past, if you've ever been like out and about, or if you've ever been in a particular place where you're chilling, like doing your own thing, worried about yourself, just being in the environment and being okay with it, and then somebody you know who ain't got no business being in those places where you are all of a sudden pops up and tries to talk to you, interact with you, whatever the case may be, without an open invitation. How dare you're stealing my energy? You had the audacity to do X particular thing, and you think I'm gonna be cool with it, and I'm gonna rock with it. Like, I don't know about y'all, but the type of person that I am growing into being, enough is enough, and I done had enough. I'm here to call a spade workings with one of my best friends, Spade Gang, established 2024, and on the back it say, "Sometimes you just gotta tell it like it is." Come on. Like, I'm in this is one of 'em, I'm in a shirt making mood because it's just like, sometimes I need people to have a visual representation of where I am and how importantly. Like, all of it is love, all of it is cool, all of it is cute, all of it is classy, all of it is graceful. But if you cross the line of my grace, still you and I'm still a work in progress, the Lord has done it. So my purpose behind having this conversation is to just kinda highlight, like, navigating the complexities of energy dynamics in relationships and social interactions is crucial for maintaining mental and emotional well-being. In this conversation, Imma give you some tips and some strategies as well that can help you protect, manage your energy when faced with individuals who may try to drain it or negatively influence it. Because just with everything that's going on right now, I have, um, reluctantly decided to kinda take a back seat to social interaction to a certain extent. I'm picky and I'm very particular about the type of interaction that I'm willing to engage with. Just because, for 2 main reasons. For one, I done been through enough. Within the past couple of years, I done been through enough. That's enough of a reason, number 1. Reason number 2 is because of the fact that I've been through enough in these last couple of years, I don't want anyone else to be caught in the crossfire, like, no casualties if that hair trigger on that 47 decides to go off because I've had enough. Like I said, I move in grace. I'm moving now. I'm exploring the chapter of my life where it's just like my love for me comes before anyone else. My love of self comes before anyone else. The self-preservation that it is that I feel I need to have because of the fact that so many other things have happened to me. I can't even explain it. I can't even begin to tell y'all my other conversations prior to now have you have no idea, no clue really as to what it is that I have been through. And if you're like me and you've gone through things as well, like, feel free to put it in the chat, raise your hand, say, "Enough is enough. I have had enough." So one of the first tips that I can give you if you have experienced situations or people where you just say, "You know what? You tried it. How dare you?" Like, the audacity for you to do whatever they did, set your boundaries. Boundaries for a lot of us is it's an interesting concept to navigate because of the fact, like, we always say, "I ain't finna let nobody disturb my," but then you don't take the necessary steps to uncover exactly how did someone disturb your peace, because the way your significant other disturbs your peace is not the same way that your child disturbs your peace. The same way that your mama and them disturb your peace is not the same way that your coworkers is gonna disturb your peace. But there is a semblance of the fact that they can do it, and it triggers you in a specific way to where you need to identify, "Hey, it's a boundary that I need to have set." And if you're anything like me, surface level is not enough. My therapist would always say, "We'll stay on the surface, but then we gonna have to go deeper too." Because there are correlations to everything in your life. If you don't have a boundary set with the way your significant other chooses to communicate with you, you're not gonna have a boundary set for when your boss tries to talk to you crazy or belittle you or demean you. Maybe it's not your boss, maybe it's your coworker. Maybe you're raising a preteen teen and they think that because you are their friend that they can talk to you any type of way and you need to tap into that boundary and show them, "No, I'm your parent." And this is the way that we're going to act accordingly. But then if your child decides to act that way with you, where in another area of your life have you displayed that same type of behavior that your child is now demonstrating with you? Because even though they're not around to see it, the universe sees it. Y'all know me, I'm good for a water analogy. I'm a Pisces, I love it. You drop that pebble of, um, how rudeness into your ocean, it's gonna ripple out, and who's amongst the ripples in your ocean? Your kids, your significant other, your parents, your family, your, coworkers, everybody. Boundaries ain't for other people, really. You have to get comfortable with your boundary for yourself first, because if you don't honor your own boundaries that you set, if you don't honor yourself in the midst of everyone else's chaos and foolishness and BS to say, "You know what? I'm not judging this person, but what this person is doing, the level at which they are choosing to live their life is not in accordance with who I am, who I'm becoming, or who I want this heart to be." I I need to set a bound so that then I know that I'm protecting myself and I'm putting everyone else within my field of influence, my field of interaction on high alert to say, "Hey, I see you. I don't like what I see. This is not working for me. This is unacceptable for me." You give them the opportunity, through practicing your own level of that boundary. Let me see if I can think of a boundary. I mean, one of my you call it a boundary, it's a non-negotiable. It's about communication. Whenever someone meets me and approaches me and we decide to communicate, I don't come in with a preset, "Oh, you have to use Merriam-Webster's dictionary version of this word," or "You have to, um, fully articulate all syllables, vowels, and consonants in your like, I don't look at it that deep or on that. But for me, communication is a very deep level because it will tell you a lot of what you need to know about somebody. So if we're ever interacting or engaging and you choose to stop doing so, but you don't tell me through clear and effective communication that you no longer want to communicate, that's a non if you can't try to meet me where I am on my level of intellect and articulation, like I like being able to talk to anybody and everything. I never look or anybody and everyone, sorry, everything to talk. I never look at anyone as though they're inferior because they don't talk like me. Our experiences are different, you know what I'm saying? Like, you coulda went to an Ivy League school, I coulda went to a HBCU. Coulda went to a junior college, still went to a HBCU. You could have a profession where literally all you talk about is, if you work with cars, you talk about the mechanic part. You are a lawyer, you talk about, lawyer stuff. I'm not going to know everything, but if I choose to give an opportunity for us to talk and you choose not to talk or you choose not to say, "Hey, I don't know what you're talking about," or "I don't have much to say on what it is that you're talking about." You just choose flat out not to say nothing. Or in the relationship space, intimate relationship space, if we have some things that are going on that we need to talk about, or if I'm getting to know you and, like, I don't know how to say it without giving too much information, but, yeah, if you choose not to engage in that opportunity, that don't work for me. That's a boundary. If you come into an interaction and say, "I'm not very smart." You don't even know me. Why you gotta compare yourself to me? Why you gotta feel like you're not very fit? But that still presents a boundary for me because in me expressing who I am and expressing it how I express it, that's me. But if that makes you feel any other type of way about how you express yourself or the need to express yourself, alright, sorry, sir or ma'am, 'cause that rule applied, that boundary applies to every that don't work for me. We can have conversations. We can talk about anything, everything, and nothing all at the same time. I be having those conversations, but it can't be nothing all the time. And I'm not even the type of person who likes to talk all the time. I come to you guys here on this podcast every Sunday, and I have conversations throughout the week, yeah, but I don't some communication ain't always in words, but you'll know what my boundaries are because I set them and I've made them clear for myself. So think back to a situation where you had to look at somebody and say, "You know what? How dare you?" Or if it's after the fact, how dare they? They have the audacity to, "Alright, cool." My boundary like, there's a person that I watch on Instagram, and one of the things that she says when she's closing out her video, she says, "Boundary up. I hope this helps." I just wanna say to her, hearing "boundary up" was something that I, at 40, really needed to hear, and it came on time. Thank you, sis. And in understanding, like, the boundaries, you move into a space of self-awareness, or sometimes your level of self-awareness is what leads to those boundaries. Like, y'all, when I love hard. I love for real. I love on purpose for a purpose. And I'm not necessarily the type of person who, like, just loves on any and everybody like that. I used to be like that. You need more context on that, go back and have a, conversation where I talk about and I think I did talk about it last week too, where I was talking about I'm a recovering love addict. My love addiction stemmed from my abandonment with my dad's presence not being in my life. And now I'm at a point to where I will never get that because my dad is no longer here. But in me going through therapy and understanding 'cause I came to the revelation about my abandonment issues before. So I exhibited a level of self-awareness that it was just like, "Oh, um, based on how I used to act in relationships, that came from somewhere." Lo and behold, I figured out where it came from, and now that I know that that was the root cause, and I know how I reacted as a, um, result of that, now I have a new space of self-awareness that I'm entering into when it comes to how people are maneuvering around me. I can't even say fully, "Come as you are." You can arrive as you are, but even upon your arrival, you're not expected to stay the same place or the same as the same person that you were prior to meeting me. Now, when you engage with someone more often for a longer period of time, then you start to notice that who that person is, how that person does things, the way that they think, the way that they go about things, hell, sometimes the way that they love you. People get scared because they either don't know what to do with that person or they don't know what to do with themselves as a result of that person. And some people will try to flip that scenario and be like, "You know what? How dare they love me through all my flaws? How dare they love me when I don't feel like I'm where I need to be? How dare they love me past my foolishness and my foolish ways and the lesser person that I am?" And then they'll try to flip it and go to something that is lesser, something being a person or a situation that is lesser than where they were when they first met you. And they will try to destroy you. They will try to assassinate your character. They will try to, um, devalue the love, the consideration, the appreciation, like, everything that you brought into their lives. They will destroy that in the eyes of someone else to make themselves bigger in the light of someone else. I just don't that's why I saying that all this world is crazy, and so are the people in it, and it's just like but I look at myself and I'm like, "Nicole, you're in this world." I am. What am I supposed to do about it? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do about it by coming to you guys, engaging in conversation, having special guests that are willing to show their vulnerability, show their openness, talk about their testimony, talk about the things they've gone through as a means to change the narrative. There's a level of setting boundaries and self-awareness that have brought them to the point of being willing to come on the Sunday sit down with Nicole LaTreece. Y'all take note. That type of stuff, it matters. One thing that in my previous situation, experience, engagement is the word that I like to use. I had to find a way to stop being so passive to a certain extent. So it's just like in previous relationships, like, I felt some type of way, but it was just like, "Oh, okay," like, "Hey, just so you know, this, that, and the third, and I feel like this, that, and the third, and whoopty whoopty whoop," and it's just like, "Can we work on it?" In my past engagement, it was just like, "Hey, like, you said this, but that ain't what you did. You said this at one point, but now you saying something else. What is it?" Practice assertive communication. You don't have to be, what do they call it? Neck rolling, finger popping, the na na na. You don't have to be that type of person. But say what you need to say. Say with your chest and with respect and with grace. You don't have to be it's assertive communication versus aggressive communication. And I think really in the dynamic of men and women interacting, and communicating with one another, I feel like that's where there's a huge disconnect because I, as a woman, I can tell you about yourself. And if I'm talking about me specifically, I ain't talking about nobody else. There are some women out there like this about what I'm about to say, and then there's some that's on the opposite side of the spectrum. If I'm coming to you and telling you something about yourself, don't look at me as, "How dare you? You had the audacity." No. Well, 1, to a certain degree, yes, I did have the audacity. I had the audacity the moment that you gave me that interaction in your life. I had the audacity that moment that you shared whatever it was that you were going through. I had the audacity the moment that you did something to make me feel some type of way other than how I wanted you to make me feel. Sometimes in assertive communication, you do have the audacity. Now, the other side of the spectrum is aggressiveness. It is when you are not letting a person get a word in edgewise, when you are talking to them, um, as though they are your subordinate and not your equal, when you are, um, arming someone, essentially treating that person the same way you would your kids, when you are, devaluing who they are. All of that is aggressive. And when it comes to, I feel, the dynamics between men and women having conversations, there's a level of sometimes aggressiveness that women feel that men have, and there's vice versa with that too. And then there is a level of assertiveness that men through as something else when a woman's it. Why shouldn't I know who I am? Why shouldn't I know what I want? Yeah, to a certain degree, I I know what I want it to look like. I know certain qualities and qualifications that go into making that what it is. But because I have that vision within myself and the vision includes someone else, I have to be open to what that other person is going to bring. But if what that other person brings doesn't make both of us rise to the occasion, if what that other person brings is on a level that represents the prior version of myself, or if it brings me to a point to where I'm operating at a lower version of myself so that they can feel higher, like, nah, fam. Ain't nobody got time for that. Don't nobody wanna do that. Don't nobody wanna live a life like that. So if you not knowing me and we come into this thing of communication, 'cause if we can't communicate, it ain't nothing else. Like, no friendship, no romantic relationship, I'm not investing my time. It just ain't gonna happen. My shirt says, "Boundaries are a God idea, so don't fault me for mine." Like, sorry, boundaries are a God's idea, just ask Adam and Eve, and then on the back it says, "Don't fault me for mine." Matthew 7:6. But it's true. You know what I'm saying? Like, we done all been through something. And for some of us, when we go through things, we're, "Alright, I done been through this, and come hell or high water, I'm never gonna go through a version of this again." And they go through the necessary proper changes of being able to produce the life that they want on the outside. You have some people that say, "Come hell or high water, I'm this again," and then they cut themselves off from being able to experience life with other people as a means to cope, as a means to protect themselves, but they're losing out on what's still meant in that situation on the other side. You have people who are walking around blind to exactly what they are experiencing in their lives, and this goes more so to, like, the people who look to always be busy. Say, "Bruh, if you always busy, but you not getting to specific places, you running, you're avoiding." If you say you're always busy and you use that as an excuse not to get close, you running, you avoiding. No one's going to stay around for that type of stuff. If they do, it's because they need a place filler just like you need. You're looking for a temporary distraction to be able to hold your mind in a particular place where you're trying to be blind to everything else that's going on around you. You can continue to live your life that way, but the quality of life that you're trying to get to, stop saying you're trying to get to it because you're not. You're not putting forth good motion, good movement. You're not putting knees to chest. You raising them, but you're not doing anything to really change the circumstances which are gonna lead to you getting to where it is that you need to be. And if you are in that particular space and you get the opportunity to have someone to come into your life in any capacity, sometimes it could be like your kids that wake you up and be like, "You know what? This level of life that I'm living, like, it ain't what's up. Like, I ain't got time. I don't make time for anything else." You can't say I don't got time because if you got time, you know, be a Jamaican, and if you have time to, um, go do this and go do that and go be here and go be the like, you have time, but there's a difference between having time and making time, and a lot of people don't understand. You make time for the things that you really want, and sometimes those things that you're making time for, they just be the right now forever. The right now is just the start, but if you don't have the vision of where it is that you're trying to go beyond right now, don't get nowhere. You like the hamster and did was change the little film that they put on the back of the cage for you to be feeling like you somewhere else, but you still in the same prison. You still in the same cage. You still in the same situation. You're never gonna get to where it is that you're supposed to get to. And then you have some people who are literally the living dead, just walking around aimlessly, not worrying about nothing, sowing chaos, confusion, discomfort for the sake of what? That takes me honestly to my next point, like, choose your relationships wisely. Tomorrow ain't promised, and the state of relationships tomorrow ain't there is so much going on in this world right now, and I've said it, and I said it last week, and I'll say it again. You link up with that vessel, whether it's for a moment, for a reason, for a season. Some of y'all situation for a lifetime. Those spirits having that house party, they gon' think that the grass is greener on the other side, meaning your vessel. And the longer you interact, the longer you commingle, the longer you cohabitate, the longer you uh correlate, if you know what you're inviting those spirits to come and have a house party over in your house, in your vessel. But it ain't just gonna be 1 or 2 spirits, they gonna bring, like, 7 of them mugs. Set up shop, set up home, and then you gonna be stuck like Chuck, just like that person. Choose your relationships wisely, like, I don't know about y'all, at having this conversation, I'm 40, looking forward to 41. 40 has been unlike what I expected it to be. Sorry, Lord, I didn't mean to make you laugh. But I'm going into 41 in a whole different type of way. Like, the relationships that I have now, they're cool. They're few and far in between. I used to have a problem with it, now I'm like, "It is what it is. This is God's plan, His will, His way. Ain't nothing I can do about it. He knows my heart. He knows the type of community that I want, but I want a community where we lean on each other. I want a community where we hold each other up. I want a community where we hold each other accountable. I want a community where we truly support one another." Look at early building, and I don't even know why I know, like, all the information, but I do, but it's beneficial for here and now. If you look at early building, like, if you look at TVs and things like that, they had to strategically place the stumps in order to be able to have it support itself. If you had one too few, the structure would not stand. If you had one too many, something would be cut off, something would be in the wrong proportion. You had to have the right amount strategically placed the right way in order for the teepee to be able to stand up and support itself. You look at some other different building techniques, they have to have the 1 2x4 that braces up against a certain part of the structure as they're trying to put the other structure pieces in place. Without that 2x4 strategically placed at the congruent angle that it needs to be at, everything that they tried to put together would fall apart and collapse on itself, or it would fall out, it would be destroyed. Use that as a reference for your relationship. No one has time to just sit around and let people constantly suck their energy. No one has the full capacity to love a fool forever. Like, actively love a fool forever. You may have love for that person, alright, and this is an actual conversation that I had with myself and God on my way to church because there are certain things that I see that pertain to certain individuals, and I know where it is, and I make myself purposely look away because it's just like I tell myself, "If I don't, oh, how dare you. You know what you've been, you know how that situation made you feel, you know where it is that you're trying to get to." No, we have to purposely choose to not look in that direction. But at the same time, it's like there's a part of my heart that God is working on, and it's like, I don't want to be spiteful. I don't want to be resentful. I want to be healed, and I want to fully be moved on from that situation. And given what I am praying for, hoping for, working on within myself, I know that there is a certain part of that that will never fully go away because the kids are still prayed for. They're not mine, but I pray for them as though they are. Alright, Lord, that's all I got. If whatever you need to do for that individual be done as a result of my prayer for the children, I won't stop praying for them. I can't find myself to continue to pray wholeheartedly for him. Once a prayer is out there, a prayer is, It's our responsibility to actively continue to pray on it if we want to see it come to pass. Where I am right now, hopefully, I can get to that point, and that will be a change from a previous situation, but right now, the kids is all I got. But in regards to, like, navigating through where I'm still at with that previous experience, it's just like, Lord, that's your son. That's all I got. It ain't nothing else. That's your son. Do what you need to do in order to make sure your kid is taken care of, still talking to God, that your son is taken care of, and let my heart move forward from any residual of intentionally not wanting to pray for that individual. Yeah, that's some deep stuff, man. Some for real deep stuff. But hey, like I told you, it's all the stuff that I'm working on and working because what is not worked on gets acted out. And I've had that experience happen to me by someone else. Uh, another tip and strategy that I can give to the end of the conversation, a couple of them. So first one is learn to say no. Nah, fam, that ain't what's up. We not gonna be. I don't think so. Yeah, that's a no for me. Nah, however you need to say it, learn to say no. But even in the information that I just gave about, on having the conversation on my way to church, like, I realize I don't have a problem with saying no to other people when it comes to matters of the heart. I have a problem with saying no to myself, and I'm actively working on it. Because if I don't love myself, if I'm not engaging in self-love, if I'm not, navigating this journey that I'm on of figuring out, like, what does love mean to me? Tina said it best, "What's love do? Got to do with it." And until I can answer that question for me, I know is the biggest thing, and no is a boundary too. Like, I was having a conversation with, a really good friend, I think it was earlier in the week, and I was telling him, like, once you get into an experience with someone and you get, so deep into where maybe y'all got your favorite place that y'all go to, maybe you've been over their house, they've been over your house, whatever the case may be, there are all circuits, there are things that are connected in your brain, right? And they're good while the connection is active. But when the connection terminated or severed, you're still left with all of these different connections. So I was telling, my friend as far as my healing journey, where said individual is in between or in the vicinity of other people that I know. Am I really going to allow myself to not go to this person who loves this house, this person who held me down's house, my own mama's house, because from where I currently live to get to that some of those houses, some of those environments that are conducive for me, I have to be too close in the area of said individual. Alright, cool, I'm not willing to stop myself from being loved by these people, but I now have to figure out different ways to get to those people's houses so I don't run the risk of torturing myself by, like, "Oh, alright, Imma go to such and such house, and Imma go to mom," like, somebody who love me, "Imma go to that person's house, and Imma go to my mama's house." But in order to like, leaving that person's house, the quickest way to get to my mama's house is to go down the street, and that person's house runs along the street. Alright, cool. Maybe it used to take me 10 minutes to get to my mama's house. guess what? It's finna take like 15 to 20 because I'm finna navigate a whole different way, like, because that's a level of no that I've had to say to myself in order to move forward in order to heal forward because that's what I'm intentional about doing, and I had to, uh, about a completely different level of mindfulness. My energy is not appreciated in certain environments. My energy has not been appreciated with certain individuals. Alright, cool. The God in me said, y'all ignore me, says, "You still have to love those people." The new me says, "Alright, God, I hear you. I love those people, but them people gotta stay where they at, 'cause I cannot," and, Sheena K, she put this up as a post as well. "I cannot continue to allow people to kinda receive the blessing from the tilt of my cup or the actual pouring from my cup. Everything is supposed to flow down to me, and because of the abundance that I have in my life, in the areas of my life, and what's meant for my life, it's going to pour over, and whoever is within the space of the overpour, the overflow, yeah, y'all can have that, and it's going to be more than enough that you're supposed to receive from me if you're supposed to receive it from me. But I can no longer, especially with where I'm going to next. I'm telling y'all, you've heard it here, you'll continue to hear it here. Pharmacy school is next for me. I am going to be a doctor. In the confirmation and the validation of that pursuit that God has given me, I am going to have to lock in like nobody's business. But what's meant for me in that moment is going to come to me in that moment. And in navigating that area of my growth, there are going to be well, maybe not a lot, but there are going to be some people, and I've already experienced it to some degree, but there are going to be some people that are going to be like, how dare she? Done became a doctor and this, that, and the third. Y'all know how y'all like. Can't be happy for somebody, can't celebrate somebody, can't, just genuinely support somebody if it ain't got no semblance of a benefit for you. What about the benefit it's gonna have for my kids? What about the benefit that it's gonna have for my future generations? What about the benefit that it could have for you if you weren't so spiteful? What about the benefit it could have for you if you didn't choose to deny me in a lesser situation? What about the benefit of how it could impact you because you have a healthcare professional who knows certain things that could be beneficial for you, for your mom, for your aunt, for somebody experiencing sickness and illness. How about you have a firsthand person who can tell you the benefits of actually getting immunized? I can do that now. I'm an immunizer. I be giving shots, y'all, like, for real. But because we're so programmed to not be happy ourselves, we don't know how to really be happy. or other people when they are advancing their lives, and if you're in that person's life for the real reason of being in that person's life, the overflow comes to you how it's meant to, not necessarily in the way that you need. So don't look at somebody else's journey in 5 years, don't look at me as a doctor, with my house and my life the way that I want it to be and be like, "You know what? How dare you? Run this back. Go back and look at what I've been through. Go back and look at what it took for me to actually get to that point. And if you still can't find it in your heart to rejoice for me, just leave me alone. Close your mouth, don't say nothing." Maybe at some point in our journey, there was a boundary that I had to put into effect that led to us no longer being connected, period. I still love you, and this goes out to all the people who I've had to sever connections with, all the people that connections were naturally severed with, all the people who I genuinely want the best for, but I can no longer take an active part in the level of life that you've chosen to live. I love y'all. I love each and every one of y'all. But right now, I gotta focus on God's master plan. Thank y'all for coming and joining me tonight. I hope that by having this conversation and engaging with me and me sharing these tips and strategies, I hope to empower you to manage your energy more effectively, to use your I said it last week, my time and my energy is expensive, so I spend it wisely, and if I spend it wisely, that means that it's expected of each and every one of you. I hope you guys will come back and join me next Sunday. Next Sunday is our Christmas edition. Um, I don't know, we're gonna figure out how to keep this thing holly jolly and have a really good low-key part while we sit up here and we talk about just family, what the holidays look like to you, what you wish the holidays look like to you, and what you hope Santa brings to you later on in the week. I said it before, I'll say it again. I love each and every one of y'all, for real. I want the best for everyone, even if a part of that best ain't me, you still deserve it. So until next Sunday, as always, go out, live a good life filled with real love and all of the above. Until next time, good night, y'all.